Gasper, how you doing?
Pretty good. Honestly, I just want to do an hour on the YouTube TV Disney thing because I'm in the same boat and I had the same experience last night. Actually, it happened to me last night after you and I were on BST. I went home. I wanted to watch some SVP and some ESPN, and I was like, no, I have this ESPN. I pay $119 a year for this, and I have the bundle on top of it.
Right.
I have the Disney. I have the bundle, and I'm logging in, and it actually got me all the way to the point where it says, oh, do you want to watch live or start from the beginning? And I'm like, no, I'd like to watch live. And then all of a sudden it gives me a playback error. It says, oh, can't play this back. You don't have access to this. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have access? So then I'm going through it all. I went through all the same stuff you went through. And it's, the way I feel about the folks at Disney right now is the way that Murray feels about the referees. I jailed them all. They have a crappy app that nobody wants, a crappy streaming service that nobody needs, and so they're going to manufacture need, and that's what's happening. They have this ESPN Unlimited thing that nobody needs because everybody already has access to ESPN unless you yank it away, and that's what they're doing. So I've had YouTube TV for a long time, and I get very frustrated when they do these dances, and normally I blame them, but in this one, I'm team YouTube because this is all Disney and ESPN trying to funnel you to their new streaming service or to Hulu Plus Live TV. And you might not know this, but you know that Disney bought Fubo?
So I've heard this. Yes.
Yes. So they're basically trying to corner the market. They're saying one way or the other, you're going to pay us, and you're going to pay us what you want, or what we want you to pay us for ESPN. This is a cartel. This is illegal activity. This is where Trump should be directing the military instead of the boats in the Caribbean. This is what should be happening.
Preach it.
Yes.
I've been saying this demands a congressional inquiry. It demands government intervention. It is a true gouge on the consumer. It is, if not consumer fraud, consumer gouging. It's they should look at it. They probably won't look at it. And it's the duplicity, Chris. It's the duplicity that really sends me over the edge. It's not above. They're robbing you, but they're not upfront about it. They're just nickel and diming you on the edges, trying to prey upon your confusion or your lack of attention to detail, or your maybe you don't have time in the day to go through the hula hoop it takes to actually find your account page and do what it takes to cancel. They're banking on them catching you on one of those things and taking your $7.99. It is gross.
Chris,
go ahead.
Chris calling them a cartel might be the best thing he's ever said on this show.
It's a cartel. I mean,
no, you're not talking about OPEC. You're talking about a meth lab in the barn. Is what you're talking.
I mean, it's ridiculous. This is. I'm not to go on a whole rant, but this is kind of part of the problem sometimes, and not in every situation, but in some situations. This is why throughout the history of the country, usually you couldn't be on both ends of it. You couldn't be the one making the content and then the one disseminating the content because it's a conflict of interest. And that's what's happening. It's like, okay, we have this streaming service. We need you to sign up for it. Oh, you don't want to sign up for it? And oh, by the way, the price of this ESPN Select thing, which is what Felger and I have, which used to get you live ESPN, but no longer does, they raised the price on it. It went up $10 and lost all of its access.
Okay, it's
absurd.
I just got it because I'm nuts about the thing right now. I just saw they upcharged me like $6 out of nowhere this past month. I was going to look into it because I'm tracking down every effing dime these people are filching from me. But that's what it is because they up their monthly and that's like a partial month probably is what they hit me with. These freaking thieves.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thieves. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But sorry, I had to indulge. Again, I could do a whole hour on that. I know that's not what the listeners and viewers want, but I had to scratch that itch.
That a boy, Chris. Your thoughts on the Patriots at this hour?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them, this is another week where they, in my mind, have a clear advantage at quarterback. And that's been a big part, I think, of this winning streak. It's sort of, I wrote about it this week in the Globe. It's kind of the perfect storm because other than the Buffalo game, which obviously was a huge win, it was a landmark win. The head coach said we wanted to take the next step and they were in our way. And the Patriots beat them. But other than that, it's been a string of first and second year quarterbacks who aren't established. And I'm including Bryce Young in that, even though he's in year 3 because he got benched last year. So this is really year 2.5 for him, where these guys aren't established, aren't proven, aren't consistent, and your guy's taken off like a rocket ship. And that's really the biggest difference. And it's yet another week with Michael Penix, who's been wildly inconsistent and is a completely different quarterback on the road than he is at home. Here are Michael Penix's career stats at home. 3-3, 64.5% completion, 6 TDs, 3 INTs. That's a 2-to-1, 95.2 rating. That's a pretty good young quarterback. Here's who he's been on the road. 1-4, 54.48 completion, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 67.8 quarterback rating. If you're the Patriots, you got to feel pretty good about this game. He's done. They won in Minnesota this year on the road. The Falcons did, but he didn't do anything in that game.
Yeah. Also a dome. I don't know if that matters, if it's an indoor-outdoor thing or whatever, but that's a familiar environment to him.
Yeah, you can't even say it's a dome thing, though, Felger, because that was dome on the road, and they won, but he still wasn't good.
I see.
So it's, because I was looking at that, too, and I'm like, oh, it's a dome thing. And I'm like, but they played Minnesota, and they won, but he didn't play well in a dome on the road. He's been awful on the road in his career.
Has this Patriots team shown you enough where you you just believe they're going to take care of business, that they've earned your trust in this sort of spot, that I think we were all sort of waiting to see, is there a hiccup? Does the bubble burst? Is this, they just get ahead of themselves? Whatever. Like, have they proven to you they're sort of past that?
Yeah, I feel that way. Yes.
Me too.
That doesn't mean you're going to win every game the rest of the way. You could drop one. Again, I know I've referenced this before. During the dynasty, there was always at least one game a year you look at, usually in the division, and say, man, how did Brady and Belichick lose that one? But this week against the Falcons, I would expect them to win this game. I would. And the Falcons do present, I think, more of a challenge than some of these other teams based on their talent, based on what the defense is. Jeff Ulbrich is a good defensive coordinator. They blitz more than any team in the league. They are number 1 in the league in time to pressure. They're number 1 in the league in fewest yards allowed after the catch. But it's another week where I look at it and I say, I just don't know if the other quarterback is going to produce enough points to keep up with Drake May. And I know going into it that the Patriots run defense is good enough to, if not shut down Bijan Robinson, make it so that he can't win the game by himself, at least not running the ball. Now, maybe it's a different story if they're throwing it to him out of the backfield and getting him matched up against those linebackers. But to answer your question, yes, they have earned that trust from me.
Okay. So, Chris, do you don't buy into the theory that Bijan Robinson is more of a perimeter runner than a between the tackles runner, and that could give them trouble? Because I've heard people say that.
Yeah, I mean, that is an interesting theory, and certainly the strength of their run defense starts with the guys up front, Milton Williams, Barmore, Kairos Tonga has been great, Joshua Farmer, Corey Durden. There is something to that, but I really thought that they could have a difficult time with Judkins last week, and they kind of bottled him up. Bijan is special. There's no question he's a special back. Maybe he'll be the Jonathan Taylor, what Jonathan Taylor was in 2021 to these Patriots, but I just think they're so good against the run, and they'll try and make Penix beat him, and I just don't think he's consistent enough to do it. Look, if you get good Michael Penix, can he do it? Yeah, but you just don't know if you're going to get good Michael Penix at this point. He's just and I'm assuming he's going to play, which is an assumption. Who knows? It could be Kirk Cousins again, but I just don't think that I think the gap it's not back to what it was before when Brady was your quarterback, but one of the reasons you won for all those years was the quarterback gap. And I think you once again are on the right side of the quarterback gap in a lot of these games against other teams whose first and second year quarterbacks just haven't taken off the way your guy has.
I was just going to say, though, quickly, though, Chris, though, what about the theory that Mazz has that the Pats are due to lose?
Oh, based on?
I think Mazz's gut.
Based on the fact that the competition they've played has been so suck poor that they could make mistakes and still win. Eventually, they're going to face someone, and not many teams on the schedule qualify. I thought Buffalo was one, but apparently not, because they made mistakes and helped the Patriots win that game. But the Patriots did make mistakes in last week's game. And by the way, don't listen to these idiots, okay? I'm not telling you the Patriots suck, but I'm saying they May threw a pick. Cleveland blew the chance to score, and the Patriots fumbled at right before halftime, but recovered it and ended up scoring. So there were a couple of now they're better than Cleveland, but Cleveland also couldn't move the ball at all. I'd like to think Atlanta can move the ball better than Cleveland.
I would like to too, but Atlanta's 28th in scoring in the NFL. I mean, for all the talent they have, they haven't been able to put it together consistently, and that's what I come back to. If this game were at Atlanta, I might feel the way that you feel, Maz, about this. I think what you're talking about is next week. That's Tampa.